In 1976, deep inside NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, a handful of scientists stared at a set of incoming numbers that didn't make sense. They weren't just off by a few points. They suggested something that, if confirmed, could have rewritten humanity's understanding of life itself. It was part of an experiment the world barely remembers, the Viking labeled release experiment, one of the earliest attempts to detect life on another planet. The results were so strange, so unexpected, that instead of sparking a global revelation, they were quietly filed away, overshadowed by the mission's more conventional successes. What followed was decades of silence, conflicting interpretations, and a growing sense among insiders that something important, maybe revolutionary, had slipped through the cracks of history. This isn't science fiction. This is a real NASA experiment, lost to time, buried beneath layers of politics, caution, and controversy. A mission meant to change everything. NASA's Viking program had achieved something extraordinary: the first successful U.S. landing on Mars. 2 robotic landers, Viking 1 and Viking 2, touched down on the red planet with a single goal: to find out if Mars had ever hosted life. One of the key tools on board was a label release experiment, designed by Dr. Gilbert Levin. Its method was elegant in its simplicity. Take a Martian soil sample. Add a nutrient solution containing carbon molecules labeled with a radioactive isotope. If microbes were present, they would eat the nutrients and release radioactive gas, signaling metabolism, the hallmark of life. Within hours of starting the experiment, something astonishing happened. The instruments lit up. The readings were exactly what scientists would expect if living microorganisms were present. But here's where the story takes a strange turn. NASA ran control experiments by heating the soil to sterilize it, and as expected, the signals disappeared. That should have confirmed life. Yet, the results were deemed inconclusive. Why? Because another instrument on Viking, the gas chromatograph mass spectrometer, GCMS, detected no organic molecules at all. And at the time, scientists believed life could not exist without organic material. That single contradiction flipped the narrative overnight. What could have been the first discovery of alien life turned into a probable false positive. The official verdict: no life detected. But not everyone inside NASA agreed. The silence, the skeptics, and the whistleblowers. For decades, the results of the Viking LR experiment remained buried in technical reports and quiet conference debates. Publicly, NASA shifted its focus. Mars was dry, barren, lifeless. The world moved on to other headlines: the Space Shuttle, the Hubble, and eventually the International Space Station. But behind the scenes, a small group of scientists, including Dr. Gilbert Levin himself, never accepted the official dismissal. In interviews and papers throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Levin insisted, "We found life on Mars in 1976. NASA just didn't want to admit it. Why would NASA bury such a monumental discovery? That's where speculation and controversy began. Some insiders suggested the agency feared a political and religious backlash. Others believed it was about scientific reputation. Confirming alien life required absolute certainty, and NASA couldn't afford a mistake that massive. And then there's the timing. Just a few years earlier, the world had seen the Mars face controversy from Viking orbiter photos, a blurry image that conspiracy theorists claimed showed a giant carved face on Mars. NASA was under intense pressure to maintain scientific credibility and not fuel more sensationalism. Admitting a discovery of life based on ambiguous data could have been catastrophic, so the safer path was silence. But things got even stranger in the 2000s. Leaked memos and testimonies from former mission scientists revealed that some data anomalies during the Viking mission were never fully explained. Tiny fluctuations in readings, delayed gas releases, and unusual temperature responses didn't fit any known chemical process. And yet, no follow-up experiment was ever launched to replicate the LR test under modern conditions. The official line stayed firm: no life on Mars. Meanwhile, rumors grew. Some believed NASA already had stronger evidence but was waiting for the right time to reveal it. Others thought the experiment might have detected non-terrestrial life forms, unlike anything we understand, a discovery waiting in the shadows. Fast forward to today. In 2018, new data from the Curiosity rover confirmed the presence of organic molecules on Mars, exactly the thing Viking didn't find. Modern instruments showed that Viking's GCMS might have actually burned up fragile organic compounds during analysis, leading to a false negative. Suddenly, the once dismissed LR results didn't look so crazy anymore. Even more compelling, NASA's own astrobiology team has quietly acknowledged that certain Martian soil reactions remain unexplained. In 2019, on the 43rd anniversary of the Viking landing, Gilbert Levin published an open letter urging NASA to rerun the experiment. He wrote, "The Viking results met all NASA's pre-mission criteria for life detection. If it wasn't life, then what was it?" To this day, NASA hasn't repeated the LR experiment. Mars rovers are focused on geology, climate, and sample collection, not direct detection of life. This has fueled endless speculation. Was NASA too cautious, or deliberately holding back? Did they fear what such a discovery would mean for religion, philosophy, or global stability? Or was it just scientific conservatism, refusing to make the bold claim without 100% proof? Whatever the reason, the Viking LR experiment remains one of the most controversial moments in space exploration, a potential glimpse of life buried in footnotes. But here's the twist. In 2025, several upcoming missions, including NASA's Mars Sample Return and the European ExoMars rover, plan to search for life again with far more sensitive instruments. And if those missions find anything, they won't just make headlines. They'll force the world to revisit what happened in 1976. Because if life is confirmed on Mars now, history may record that the first sign of it was found nearly 50 years ago and it was ignored.